Alright, welcome back to the latest video here. What we have is a K7000. The box that this came in was too big to kind of fit on here and unbox, so I just took it out, but I have not taken it out of the wrapping or done anything. Just took it out of the box and placed it here. And the note on here says, originally was blowing fuses. Did a cap kit, didn't blow the fuse, but no picture on the monitor. I could hear the static crack, but nothing else. Swapped out HOT and voltage regulator, but they may not be good because turned the system on again and popped the fuse. So I'm going to take a look and see if we can discover what is going on here. Let's set that aside and serviced by P&L. That makes me scared right away. Well, the vertical IC heatsink is bent. Not sure what's up with that or why, but well, already we got multiple broken wires on the remote harness here. We've got 3 broken wires. One looks like it goes here, one looks like it goes here, and I have no idea where the third one goes. So I have to look at another 7000 with this setup. It's very important. It's very, very important to always put a strain relief on here. Get yourself a zip tie to the hole so the strain relief is here and not on the wires. And so here's a classic example of what can happen. So we have 3 broken wires here. I don't know if the owner of this noticed that the wires are broken. And then we have an HOT that is not screwed to the frame, the heatsink, so that's problem number 1. And there's no insulator. The insulator's missing for the oh Lord, the insulator's missing for the HOT, and the insulator is missing for the voltage regulator. The voltage regulator has no insulator. Well, there's your problem, lady. As South Main Auto would say, there's your problem, lady. There's no insulator for your voltage regulator, and there's no insulator for your HOT, so there's problem number 1. Well, 2 problems, I guess. Then you got these wires busted off here, so that's problem number 3. Here's problem number 4, is this bent heatsink. If we take a look around, it's clean, otherwise. What did this say? Originally was blowing fuses. Did a cap kit, but no picture. Could hear static. Swapped out HOT and voltage regulator. Well, when you swapped out the HOT and the voltage regulator, you didn't put a insulator in, and that's probably why the fuse started blowing. So that was an issue. And you probably had no picture because these wires were broken. So it may have. The initial issue was probably bad caps blowing the fuse, and then you had no picture because you had broken wires, and then when you tried to replace these components, you didn't use the insulators and the fuse started going again. So we may be able to simply install some insulators and fix these wires and be good, hopefully, and I'll straighten this back out. But let's take a look at the back side. This is the wrong screw for this, and that's all loose. I don't even know if we can fix that. Okay. Let's look at the back side here. Well, we got cracked solder joint on the red header pin. On the red header pin, there's a cracked solder joint for the red, so that's another problem. Very common though. Not sure why you'd reflow the rest of these and not the red one. Then there's this right here for the HOT. Looks like it bent the leg over, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, I think well, in R101, the most common culprit, R101 here, is severely oxidized and barely holding on with the solder. This right there. So we're going to have to bridge these two. We're going to have to bridge these two and fix that. We got some type of stray wires here from the... Yeah, we'll have to fix that. Corner's busted off. That's not a big deal though. That's just the ground plane. And does that even have continuity? That does. Well, barely. Okay, well, since the fuse is blowing, it's almost absolutely assuredly because that voltage regulator has no insulator. But we'll go ahead and go through all of our testing here just to verify. Okay, pins 1 and 4 should be about 0.150. 0.147, close enough. So the voltage regulator is not shorted. Our HOT, that's not right. That's not right at all. That's reading through the voltage regulator. That should be 0.4 something. I've got another 7000 here that has another issue. We can just use it to showcase here, but if you look and I touch HOT, there you go, 0.48 and come on. There you go, 0.48 and 0.48. This one is reading like the HOT's out of circuit. Let's get out of there. Yeah, that's the same reading that we get for here. So, like the HOT's out of circuit somehow. I've never seen that before. Let's test, I guess we can test C38, make sure it's not shorted. Nope, it's good. D18. D18 is good. It shouldn't be reading both ways, so something's definitely wrong. C36, that's not right either. That should be reading from here to here, and from here to here should be reading the same as the HOT, 0.4 or something. So something is in fact wrong with that. Let's test our R103. Should be 3 ohms. This right here. Yep, 2.8. That's this guy right there. R104 should be 15 ohms. Yep. R89 should be 3.9. Well, this should be 270. You can't even see what I'm doing, sorry. This should be 270. Yep, this should be around 5K in circuit. 4.2 or something. That's not out of the realm of normality. Yeah, 4.2, that's okay for R101. Then we should have, for R88 should be 1.8K. Yep, and R96 should be 1.8K. Yep. So that's all good. Our C36 isn't shorted. C38 is not shorted. D18 is good. All of our resistors are good. We don't really need to worry about our... Oh, and our 103 is good. We can test our rectifier diodes, but they'll probably all be okay. But with the fuse blowing, I can't say. So that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good, and that's good. Well, I think what we'll have to do here is we're going to take our HOT out of circuit, see if it reads any different. While we're waiting for the iron to heat up, I just noticed this on the neck board. I don't know what the heck is going on with this, just observation. It looks like it's a jumper to here. That's something I've never seen before. And if we look at the transistors here, this one's all bent over, and if we look right here, it's broken. That's broken. So I'm assuming that this is broken as well. So we're gonna have to do a bunch of neck board repair on top of this. So let's now it's soldered in. Yeah. Well, let's one thing at a time here. Let's get this HOT out of here. Actually, I need to wait for my desoldering station to heat up. I just realized I forgot to turn it on. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and fix our R101 here. So the proper way to do this is to remove the old oxidized solder. Like that. Alright. And then we will add new solder here. There you go. Beautiful. Perfect. Now over here, we'll do the same thing, but I want to push this resistor through here a bit. There we go. I need a bit more to cross that gap there. Come on, you rascal. There we go. Got it. So there you have it. That's how I repair these R101s, and that will keep that oxidation from happening ever again. So, all right, so that's fixed, and our desoldering station is now up to par on removal. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's get rid of this here. Gonna have to use the iron for this one. Okay. Alright, so there is our HOT removed and no insulator. Let's take our voltage regulator out. Now that I think about it, I think the reason that we were reading the voltage regulator reading, the 0.150, we're reading it here is because there's no insulator. So if we take that out, let's use the iron to make it easier here. Quick and easy. And we'll get this out. Okay, voltage regulator is out. Now let's see if we're still reading that 0.150 here on the legs. Here to here. Nope. And here to here. Nope. So that's good. Okay. Let's test our HOT. Make sure it reads okay. There's our 0.4 and 0.4. Although that's kind of an odd. It should be the same on each side. If you look there, we got 0.47 on one leg and 0.9 on the other. I don't think that's right. Hang on. Okay. I gotta get my parts bag out of here. And as you see, I got plenty of insulators, so we're gonna use those. Alright, here's my 7000 bag of parts. And let's grab a new HOT out of here and see what it reads, because I don't think that that's right. Alright, so here's a new one. We got 0.49 and 0.5. Well, interesting. I guess the other leg is a bit higher, so for the interest of science here, let's put this back in. Are we through? Yep, we're through. Okay, do I have the proper hardware here to secure that? I have plenty of screws, but I don't think I have any of the nuts. I indeed do not have any of the nuts. Got plenty of screws though. I wonder if I can put one in that doesn't require. Nope, that's too small. That's too small as well. That one's too big. Let me pilfer around in my stash here, see if I can find a screw and a nut that'll fit that. Well, I was indeed able to find a screw and a nut, so we're going to use that to put through here. And let's grab an insulator. Only question is, what kind do we go with? Do we go with a transparent one or a silicone one? Or there's two different types of silicone ones. The only one I have for the voltage regulators are the transparent. Let's go with the silicone here. Alrighty, set that right there and grab the screw and drop the screw and install the screw. See if we can get this started here. This may prove to be somewhat difficult because my tweezers aren't the best, and indeed they suck. There it went. So we're going to go out in style here with the big gun. And if you don't know what I mean the big gun. So I had to cut that screw to get the I mean, this is how long the screw used to be. So I cut it down a bit, and now I have to try and get this threaded back on here. After cutting those threads, which that's never easy to do. Yeah. I'll just put the longer screw in. Forget it. I'll just put the longer screw in here. There's no reason to deal with it if we don't have to. The headache, I mean, that is. Because this should thread right on there. Like so. So the screw is officially way too long, but you gotta do what you gotta do. That's all I have at the moment. Let's make sure that that's sitting the way that it should. Yes, indeed. And it doesn't need to be super tight, it just needs to be snug. There we go. Okay. Make sure that that is good. That is good. Okay, so now we have our insulator on our HOT. So now we need to do this somewhat properly here. We will just bend this leg over to there. We will scrape some of this away. And we'll bend this leg over to here. And that one seems okay, so we won't need to do much with that. Okay, there we go for that, and there we go for that. Hot diggity and shazam. All right, now that that's in there, let's see what we get now. Do we get our 0.48 or so? I bet that we do with that regulator removed. There you go, 0.47 and 0.47. Now our critical safety cap should read the same. From this point to here should be 0.47, and from here to here should be 0.47. Bada bing. Okay, now let's get this, let's test our B plus resistor. Should be 220, somewhere around there. 180. I think the 220 is actually the 19-inch. Yeah, 180. 180. It says 180 right here. I keep forgetting 220 versus 180, 1925. Anyway, okay, so B plus resistor is good. So in theory, we should be able to install an insulator for the voltage regulator and get it going. Do a bit more inspection on some solder joints. Reflow that red header pin over here. And give it a try, because I am fairly confident that it was simply not having the insulators installed. Oh, and we got to fix our wires here too. All right, so is this a counterfeit one or is this a real one? So on the fat one here, it should be pins 1 and 4. On the skinnier, taller one, it's 3 and 4. So if we go 1 and 4, yep, I think that's good. 2 and 3, 1 and 2, yep. Where's the real one? Alright, so here's a fake one. Here's a fake one. You can totally see the difference in the branding on there. This is a completely fake one, and this is most likely a real one. If we compare this one to other known real ones here, you can see that these are the same here. So let's test this one. 1 and 4, yep. 1 and 2, yep. 1 and 2. Yep, 1 and 4, yep. Okay, I think the regulator is just fine. So let's get this back in with an insulator. Regulators, mount up. Alright, so let's get this stuck in there. I always like to at least get one started here, because it makes it so much easier. But you have to line it up. And it's not even close. Dare I dream? Is that good? Dare dream it, and it is so. Ah, oh, you rat bastard. Get back up there. There we go. Okay, so solder this back in. We gotta fix this. And we gotta reflow this. Okay. Flyback solder looks okay. Just giving a quick look over everything else. Let's hit this, this. D18 looks okay, C38 looks okay. All of the horizontal width coil seems okay. Yoke pins look okay. Ribbon cable. Ribbon cable pins look okay. Alright. So let's, I'm going to leave this. I think what this is some of these 7000 frames are at an angle, and when they're up at an angle, you can't fit it in here easily because the heatsink here hits the picture tube. So they bend this out of the way so it fits in there at the ones that mount at an angle. So I'm going to leave this like that because I thought about that earlier while I was doing this, that this is probably installed in one of those tubes where instead of sitting flat at the back of the tube, it's up at an angle and it has to clear the picture tube, which is why they bend that. So I think what we can do now is let's test to make sure that with the regulator back installed, we're still reading properly on our HOT. Yep. So we were reading our 0.150 like we were reading this at the HOT because it was shorting to the frame. So I think that might have been the issue. But everything, we tested everything, all the major components, everything actually tests okay. And now that we have our insulators installed, it should be okay, but we need to fix our wires here. So looking at, we're gonna have to strip these. Look at my strip, get my strippers. Yeah, hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, back with the strippers, but as I was walking down to the toolbox and back, I was going through my head the discrepancy about how the fuse was blowing, they changed the caps, and then they had no image. Well, I also noticed it has a new flyback. And a lot of people don't realize that the new flybacks will ship with the screen pot turned completely down, all the way down. So you actually have to turn the screen pot up on the new flybacks. So I'll bet you, if we test this, I'll bet you the screen pot is all the way down. Just, if I was a betting man, I'll bet you it's turned all the way down. So if we turn this to the left and it moves, then it was not all the way down. So I'll put the screwdriver in here and I'll turn it left. And it's all the way down. I can't turn it. There you go. So my suspicion is correct. The reason they had no picture after they did the cap kit and the fuse no longer blew is because when they put the new flyback in, they did not turn up the screen pot. So I think that was part of the problem, coupled with this problem here with these broken wires. So this was a twofold problem: broken wires to the contrast and brightness, and a screen pot on a new flyback that was all the way down. So we'll turn this up roughly right there, should be good. Okay, so we're finding stuff left and right here. Let's strip our wires and get them back in the spots where they're supposed to go. Alright, any of these other ones about to break? Doesn't look like it. So let's get these installed. And oh boy, this one's got the connectors on. This one's got connectors. So it's going to be tricky. Alright, so the white wire, see, these have different colors. Brown, blue, and white. I don't have a blue. Orange goes to brightness. I can ring all this out, but I'd rather just have a template. Let me go grab a different chassis and see if I can find the right template. Well, the only other 25-inch 7000 I have on hand is the 7000A. But it has the same pinout here, so let's go over this. It looks like the white wire, you have a white with blue stripe. The white with blue stripe goes right, let's suck these out here. Okay. That goes to here. Alright, so there's one, and possibly not going to be able to get this one out of here. Okay, so now we have two nice clean holes. And it looks like the white with blue stripe goes top left for contrast, just like so. And the straight white wire goes here now that it's all frayed out, you son of a bitch. So we got the blue one and the white one. Let's flip this over and bend these out accordingly. That. Let's put a little flux on here. You want to use a little flux on there because these wires are old, and old wiring doesn't like to have solder flow on it too well, so I like to use a little flux on here. I'm going to leave it on there for a minute so it'll flow. There we go. Alright, so there is that. Now we need... Is that supposed to be touching? Is that supposed to be touching? That is not supposed to be touching. Ah, interesting. Found something else here. This is a hodgepodge of mess. Alright, so if we look here on this board, this post here and this These two are not supposed to be touching, and they don't. On this one, they're not. It looks very close. Yeah, it looks very close. And I realize you can't even see. See? So now we have to see if we can fix this. There we go. And that may have been a contributing factor as well. Alright, so that's fixed now. Now we got to get this one remaining wire, which obviously goes right here for brightness. And let's look at this one for our template. Show enough. So let's see if we can get this one out of here. That is here. Let's see if we can grab that as we heat it up and get that out of there. Got it. All right. Now let's stick this in here. Of course, it's frayed out now too. Go. Fold that over. Let's give it some flux. Not too much. They run all over. All right. Okay, now that those are all fixed and everything appears to be okay, we need to put our strain relief on here. There always needs to be a strain relief, or this is just going to happen again. There we have it. Where'd my cutters go? Okay, let's fix our neck board. Well, something else here that caught my eye is the G2 wire is not plugged in. Don't know if that happened in shipping or handling, but the G2 wire is not plugged in. That could be a problem, so that's back on. Neck pots all seem okay. We're going to put them all to the center, like I always do, for a good base. Good baseline. I have no idea what's going on with this, so we're going to remove this. Alright, that jumper's out of here. We're going to set it aside. And let's fix these. Alright, so now those are a bit more flushed out. And we need to, oops, sorry about that. Need to fix the solder joints here. Alright, so those three are good. Those three are good. So that's 2 out of 3. And as Meatloaf says, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Rip Meatloaf. And what's going on here? That whole trace is destroyed. Alright, that looks much better. Now we can just solder right to that trace. Without that giant jumper. There you go. Much better. Alright, so we got all three. Nope. Oh, that's right. That one. This one's broken. That's right. This one right here was broken. Completely broken. Well, that's no big deal. We can just bridge to Madison County that one. Oh, you rat bastard. Let's bend you over. That's what she said. Alright. There you go. Perfect. Anything else need reflow? Yep, let's hit some of these CRT pins. Those are all okay. Anything else? Grounds are all right. Okay, well, now I think we're ready. We've checked all of our solder joints. We fixed our wires for our brightness and contrast. We've turned up our flyback. Was all the way down. We did our reflow. We did the HOT repair. We did the voltage regulator. Got the insulators installed. Everything tests okay. Nothing tests out of the ordinary. So now that we have all of this repaired, let's grab a picture tube, and I'm going to hook up my circuit breaker, and instead of as a refresher here, I actually have a 2 amp circuit breaker, as opposed to blowing through a bunch of fuses. When we have things like this, I have a 2 amp circuit breaker that clips on the fuse holder, and as you can see, 2 amps, and it just pops. Reset it. Part number is 7277-2-2, and the last number is the rating. So if you need a 5 amp or a 4 amp or a 3 amp, it's 7277-2-3, 4, 5, whatever you need. So we're going to use this so we don't blow through fuses. I got to put away all of my insulators here. Let me go grab a tube, we'll throw it on there and cross our fingers. Okay, be right back. Alright, we are on the tube. We have anode, neck, yoke, ground, power, video, and remote all hooked up. So our Crucial 7 are ready to go. Let's turn on our test pattern generator. I have the circuit breaker installed, clipped on, ready for immediate blowing if it or popping if something is still wrong. But we tested everything. Everything tested okay. I think the general problem was the wires broken off the brightness and contrast pots, and the flyback being turned all the way down, and the missing insulators on the HOT and the voltage regulator, coupled with a bunch of bad solder joints. So I think this is probably going to be okay. So let's go ahead and turn this on and see what happens. 1, 2, 3. There you go. It's amazing when everything is correct and adjusted. But we don't have an image. Oh, did I speak too soon? Now we're back to no image. This is what it... Oh, focus up, you piece of junk. This is what the original discrepancy was, no image. Is it simply the fact that we have brightness and contrast turned down? Yep, look at that. Vertical hold. H position. And roughly there. Vertical size, roughly there. Vertical position needs readjusted, right there. Vertical size. And we are upside down. Let me turn this off, and I will have to flip the vertical winding here, which will be easier said than done. So we want green on the inside. Green on the inside, yellow on out. Am I going to be able to do this here? I know you can't see what I'm doing, but it's hard to do this while it's sitting in here. Got it. How about that? Okay. So all I did was flip the I don't even know if you got flip the green and the yellow wire connection around. So now it should be right side up. Hopefully, anyway. There we go. Hot damn. The top is darker. That's interesting. But let's adjust our focus. And boom. Beautiful. That's nice and sharp. Okay. We're stretched too far, but this is a test pattern generator issue, not an actual chassis problem. So let's adjust this properly. Black level all the way down. Contrast all the way down. And screen pot up until we get raster lines. Right there, so you can see the raster lines. So we'll turn this down until they just go away, roughly there. Now we will turn our brightness and contrast back up. Brightness up until we get a dark background. There it is, roughly. So roughly there for black level, and then contrast we turn up as needed. Right about there. Well, look at that. Do we have H position needs to be roughly there's equidistant. Do we have horizontal size adjustment? Yes, we do. Shrink the image. Black bar both sides. Increase the image. Oop. There you go. Well, hot dog, hot jambalaya. Well, there you go. I'm going to hook up an actual PCB, and you'll see that these lines aren't there on the actual PCB. This is an artifact of the test pattern generator. The battery may be slightly low, but that's a test pattern generator issue, I believe. We can try and adjust the 50-60 hertz pot to see if maybe that's a cause of it, but let's go the other way around here. Okay, let's hit that 50-60 hertz pot right there. And a little bit. It's a little bit, but it's still there. It's, yeah. Let's disconnect this. And let's plug in. I got NK running here. We can just change out the video signal and voila. Vertical hold. Oh, I got bubble wrap on here, sorry. And there you go. Colors look like garbage, but that's because I put them all to center, and this tube's a bit old and tired. If we adjust H position, there we go. And now we need to readjust our brightness and contrast because that this pot's dirty. That's way too much. This pot's dirty. All right. There you have it. So, yep, we had broken wires and no insulators and bad solder joints and what else? Yeah, the flyback was turned all the way down. I think that was it. Flyback all the way down, bad solder joints, broken wires, no insulators, quick reflow, quick rework. I need to take this off and do a full cleaning on it, clean all the rework and clean the flux off the board and the neck board and everything, get it all situated to the way it needs to be. But yeah, look at that. Up and running, and that was what was wrong with it. So I'm glad I was able to help out Dave here, and I'll get this back his way, and hopefully it lasts a good long while for him. Oh, hey, 50-60 hertz. Let's go into the test menu. I didn't notice that until just now. All right, so if we scroll to diagnostic tests, monitor patterns, crosshatch. Okay, so if you look down here, it's squished, and we're also way too red and too bright. Okay, there's where it should be. That's much better. Okay, so if you look down here, we're squished. You see how we have the red and the green block, and then down here it's squished. So if we just go to the 50-60 hertz pot right here, this white pot, this guy right, that vertical white pot right there, right behind the H hold, we adjust that pot, and that will fix our squished bottom here. As you see, there, right there you go. And that also adjusted the top. So if we decrease our vertical size right there, and now we have no more squish at the bottom. So there you have it. Fully functional, 100% operational, fixed K7000, ready to go back to Dave, and should last him a good while. Hopefully he'll be happy with this. And I got another, let's see, this one here is working. This was one of my spares. I don't want to sell this because it's the A with the bad flyback, or the flyback that you can't get. So I don't want to sell this to someone and have it 6 months down the road be a paperweight. So I'm going to hang on to that. This came out of a Revolution X that we have at the arcade. It works for about 10 seconds and then it goes to an all gray screen. You power cycle it, it comes right back up and it works perfectly, and then it goes to an all gray screen. So there's something wrong with it where after it's on for a few seconds it just goes to an all gray screen. And the flyback's original, so it may be a flyback issue, but it's been rebuilt, reflowed, new caps, and just after 10 seconds or so goes to an all white screen. So I got to fix this, so stay tuned for that. I still got the extremely dirty 19-inch 7000 out of the outrun out in the garage. It needs repaired. I got a bunch of chassis on the way from people that I need to get fixed, so no end to the content in sight. I will get this back to the owner, and stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, and there'll be a lot more on the way. So thank you again, and we'll see you then.